You've been in this business since you were just a kid.
Yes.
And you wrote all your songs.
I did, and I've been told by a lot of music publishers that, like, in today's day and age, you're rarely going to see that anymore, just because there's such a political thing now to writing singles for hit artists. It's like, we need 8 people in the room.
Yeah.
Like, 8 people would have written Shake Your Love 32 years ago.
You were the...
But it's not that complex
You
of
were
a
the
song.
Taylor Swift before Taylor Swift.
Right. I mean, and she's, you know, she's a great writer. She's a great solo writer also.
So you have this new show. It's a competition show, America's most musical family.
Yes.
And how'd you get involved with that?
You know, I got the call, and at first, I found out from the executives, Doug Cohen, who's the talent executive at Nickelodeon, and Brian Robbins, who runs the network, who used to be on the show Head of the Class. And funny enough, Brian and I co-hosted the Kids' Choice Awards back in, I don't know, 87 or 88 or something. But they wanted me for the show, and I was on the mixtape tour at the time, and the dates were going to conflict. But I think, thanks to Sierra's husband's football schedule, the dates got moved.
Okay.
So thank you. And then they were able to call me, and it was such an instant yes, because I love young talent. I grew up singing with my sisters, and I still sing with my dad when he comes and visits. And the idea of families like sitting around their living room making music in this organic way and bringing it to life on TV was just so appealing to me and a perfect fit.
So it's like American Idol, but with families.
Yes.
Is there a lot of families that play music together?
Oh my gosh, so many. So, yeah, I mean, there's really like first of all, I think the most unique family group was a death metal father and son.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kids in the audience were a little like,
Yeah,
we don't know what to make of this.
It's not the Partridge Family.
Not the Partridge Family. There was a mariachi band. What I loved about the show is, like, every act, whatever their musical genre was so steeped in their family tradition, history, ethnic background, and so it really exposes all kinds of music to this young audience. And there are, like, modern day Partridge Families and Osmonds and Jacksons, and I mean, I get really excited. You know, I just, especially just young talent in general, it's like I was that kid. So I just kind of put myself in there and see the world from their vantage point, and it's like they've got everything ahead of them, but the family bond and the fact that they're like up there together and the family harmony blend. I mean, there's so many amazing things about this show.
Yeah, it's a perfect show for you, because you can probably give some advice to these young people.
I can, and you know, I try to impart things in a non-preachy way, you know, and just really connect with kids, and some, you know, sometimes there's constructive criticism to be given, and other times it's like, don't let any record executives change anything you're doing. Just stay on your path, keep honing it, because I just love seeing authenticity, and there was a lot of that on the show.
So how do you find the people, and are there certain requirements to get on the show? Or?
Well, the Nickelodeon execs and producers really found all the talent through YouTube and different, you know, just kind of reaching out, like just this outreach to for people to kind of submit their auditions, if you will. And then a lot of these acts already have huge YouTube followings and fan followings. And that's what's so interesting about this world. It's like, when I go back to the beginning of my career, it was like, you know, 200 drunk people in a club at a time that I had to win over with Only in My Dreams, singing live.
That's how you started in the clubs?
I started
performing?
in the clubs. I would play a teen club, a straight club, and a gay club all in one night.
How old were you when you started doing that?
16.
Okay, yeah.
But the club owners did not know that.
Yeah, sure,
And
sure.
my mom and I were not going to tell them.
Uh-huh.
My mom was maybe more tenacious than me, but it was funny because we were kind of like a vaudeville act, but we were in the clubs. It was like me and my 2 backup dancers, one who still dances with me to this day, Buddy Casamano. He went to high school with me. And my sister Karen, who was 21 at the time, did sound and lights.
Yeah.
She was a chick DJ, you know, very cool. And chick sound engineer, I should say. But yeah, but we were all like very innocent and just, you know, we're like eager to do the music. And literally there would be like, yo, 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 clear the dance floor, we got a singer. And I'd come out and like, okay, we're on the dance floor tonight, guys, there's no stage. I mean, it was such a great way to start, because like, I'm petrified for these kids when they do their first big performance in front of millions of people on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing it on stages the size of this table, and if something went wrong, I learned then how to navigate it.
So
and everything went wrong that could have gone wrong.
They didn't have many shows like this back then. Like there was.
No, I mean there was Star Search,
and things like that.
which I got rejected from 11 times.
Okay.
11.
Wow.
And I auditioned with everything from Where the Boys Are to my original songs that I was told would never be hits. So I love, especially off camera to these families and these kids, I love to say that to them and say, look, if you got cut tonight, it's really nothing. You had a platform on American national television, and it really is true that you just have to keep believing it's going to happen, and that's what I did.
It's got to be hard to reject a family, to say, hey, you're pretty good, but you're not good enough, family.
It was really hard. I hugged a lot of crying children, which was not fun. It's not fun, but it really, honestly, it's going to toughen them up. I was like, can you guys just go out, grab a burger and a shake and celebrate?
So when you were starting out, you're playing the clubs, you're going into, different venues. Your mom is taking you around.
Yep.
How did you get that first big break? How did you start getting taken
seriously? I literally have just an old-fashioned hard work story, and my mom and I really I always say I want to tell my career story at some point in some kind of a biopic or something, but from my mom's point of view. I think she has the more interesting story because she was this young mom of 4 girls. I was just kind of tugging on her sleeve going, I want to do this. I want to be a star. I want to make music. How do we get me on the radio? And she was like, I don't know. She was office managing doctor's offices in Manhattan. She had no idea. And, but through doing professional theater and TV commercials and all of that stuff, I was always in Manhattan and always in these buildings. And I started demoing music after she got a $10,000 loan from my Uncle Joe, and set up a recording studio at home. I had a little Tascam 4-track and a reel-to-reel. I was splicing my own tape.
Wow.
By the time my songs started getting played on the radio, I was doing radio IDs. I'd be like, C100's got the music I thought was all in my dreams. And I was inserting it into, and I was splicing the tape, and we would send out 300 customized radio IDs. Now that's jumping ahead a little in the story, but point is it was very grassroots.
Yeah.
We found an entertainment attorney who played it for the guys in the back office, which was the dance department at Atlantic Records. No windows, a lot of 12-inch singles with no pictures, no labels on them. And at the time, people forget that there were not fetuses making music at the time. Yeah. So they looked at my age as a detriment. They were like, we don't know how to market a 16-year-old. We haven't done that since the Osmonds. There's no room for a 16-year-old. Let's just pretend you're older. So it was white label, no mention of my age, which I love because Only in My Dreams really made it on its own merit. And then me playing live, people thought I was older also.
That's amazing.
But we literally, we got that deal, but my mom and I used to sit at the table, and we have rejection letters from Tommy Mottola and Atlantic until they later signed me and all the majors. And we would just send out a picture, a resume, and a demo tape. And the demos were songs I was demoing in the garage.
Stuff you recorded at home.
Yeah.
And then when you got the record deal, do you go into a big studio
Yes, but the big studio was a big small studio. They found me this producer named Fred Czar, and he recorded it out of his basement in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And the vocal booth was the laundry room.
Oh, nice.
And there was this orange kind of tie-dye curtain that went across the washer dryer, and all my hit vocals were recorded in that room.
Was it overwhelming when things exploded and you were the biggest star on the radio?
It happened relatively quickly, but again, compared to these times, it happened really one step at a time. It was I'm playing clubs. There's a little more heat. There's a little more heat. Okay, now radio's picked it up. Okay, a couple of people recognize me. A couple of more people. And so I was kind of keeping up with it in real time. I think the hardest part was school. I was determined that if I said, well, if I stay in regular school, it's going to make me normal. But I really wasn't normal. It's like kids that are homeschooled these days. Some kids, I don't know. I was normal in that I went to the slumber parties. I went to the movies. But my heart was in music. I was a professional. I was on my way in my career. And I was trying to fit in. Yeah. And kids were treating me very differently. Teachers were treating me very differently.
What would the teachers do?
Some of them were supportive, but a lot of them were envious.
Yeah, sure.
You're leaving and tried to make my life difficult.
Yeah.
And I was keeping up with my grades, and they couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
A lot of them wanted me to fail.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids, you know.
Smart and talented too.
Well, and I was just I was just like, I'm not going to give anyone anything to say. And they tried to find ways to not let me graduate with my class, and you know, we're gonna fail you in phys ed. I'm like, phys ed? I'm performing. I'm sweating all night in these clubs. Like, you know, I'm not just you know, like, you know, gym class compared to what I was doing on stage was a cakewalk. But they were just trying to find ways to make my life difficult, because they thought that I was special, and I was like, no, I really don't. I'm just on a different path.
Never miss a beat. Subscribe to Larry King Now and watch new episodes every day.